and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto, and today guys we are taking another cheeky look at Polkadot. Specifically we're going to be taking a look at the Polkadot chart. We're going to go through some price predictions and take a look and review the price breakout that we've seen today. So if you find this useful, informative, and maybe there's some entertainment in there, do go ahead and absolutely smash that like button for Chris. He really does appreciate it. And if by chance you're not yet subscribed to the channel, then do go ahead and subscribe. By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with all the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Chris, shall we jump on over to the charts and kind of give a view, go over what we can see there?
Yeah, but before we do, I know it's not a Cardano video, but don't forget, guys, you can delegate to our Cheeky Crypto Cardano staking pool, mint blocks with us, and earn lovely, juicy rewards. The ticker's Cheek, and you can use the Atomic wallet, Deadliest, and 𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗠𝗘𝗥𝗦 wallet.
Fantastic. Right, let's jump on over to the Polkadot charts and yeah, we'll just let everyone mull over how to delegate their ADA to our
I know. It's the juicy rewards that's got everybody thinking, Nick.
It really has, yeah. Right, so we're just going to have a look at the Polkadot chart. We're going to go over the Polkadot price prediction. DOT is poised for a significant correction in our opinion, and the technicals here are suggesting something similar. So Polkadot does seem to be on the verge of a massive correction, and it has been quite overextended. So several indicators and on-chain metrics are suggesting that the DOT token, the asset, might see a pullback before another leg up. Okay, so we're going to go through what we can see. So obviously the bears have a $16 kind of area scoped out, and they're potentially trying to get in at that particular area. So yeah, I think ultimately, Polkadot has reached new all-time highs on February the 3rd as we record this video. That was, I think, $19.83. And yeah, it's as you can see quite nicely on this chart here, quite significantly higher than it was before, right? So really good stuff. And market capitalization was over 17.4 billion, almost surpassing XRP, which stands at 17.8 billion. And yeah, so it's unfortunate that we do have to have these kind of videos, Chris, where we do expect a bit of a pullback. It's normally we like to really talk about the things moving up, but this is a reality of it, that they do also correct. So if you're a trader, then this might be of more interest to you. And if you're invested, just prepare yourselves mentally for a bit of a correction to the downside. So there's lots of, I guess, social volume on Polkadot as well, which is something that indicates a bit of a pullback. And we just look back to the 16th of January and the 31st of January 2020, when there was lots of social volume out there around Polkadot that ultimately was led by a price drop in the chart. But we're going to really focus in on, Chris, here is the 4-hourly chart. The 4-hourly chart continues trading within an ascending parallel channel, and you can kind of see it on this daily loosely, but we're going to get into it more on the actual, how do I put it, like the 4-hourly chart itself. So the ascending channel, after rejection from the top end, resistance at 20, and ultimately past the rejection from the upper boundary, has always pushed DOT towards the lower trend line. And you can kind of see it really in this daily chart around here. And obviously the recent breakout, which is fantastic to get us above the resistance, but we're kind of expecting maybe to come back in. I don't think it's necessarily going to go as far down as what the bears are indicating, but I think we're going to get a pullback regardless. So I'm just going to kind of brace you guys for that a little bit. But since Polkadot price got rejected again, it will most likely fall towards the lower boundary of the pattern, right? And that's kind of what the bears are trying to get at. It's most likely going to come into here. But let's pull this down a little bit lower, Chris. Let's well, actually, before we do that, let's just look at this daily chart. And we can obviously see the high level at the top there, which is fantastic, obviously. We do have some good volumes on the day, okay, but they are still decreasing day on day. Okay, so we've had some recent last 3 days it's gone up, but still the overview view here is over a longer period of time it's decreasing volumes. The MACD looks like it's going to go for a positive cross, but that may actually end up halting and going to the downside, but we'll have to monitor that situation as well. And the RSI is very, very close to being overbought on this daily chart. So let's pull this down, Chris, into our 4-hourly view. This is where our channel starts to make a little bit more sense. Okay, and we could obviously reassess this and move this line maybe a little bit further up here, but I'm going to just leave it down at this zone here. Yeah, I'm going to pop it just there so we can get a good clear view of what I think is going on here. So obviously with this particular channel and chart, now I have got this this one probably a tad too long. It should actually just be representing that particular candle there. Okay, so we have 1 touch point, 2, 3, 4, 5 touch points. So we have an upper trend, a trend line here that's been touched multiple times and we've unable to pierce through it. And on the downside, we have 1 touch point over there. We have 2 over here. So we get 3 touches on the baseline with 5 on the top. So we can know that there is a bullish sentiment on a bigger macro scale, but ultimately we're unable to pierce through. And because we're up right up this top end, guys, we're kind of expecting us to pull back down. Now, we had this breakout here of our 1832 resistance zone, a resistance that we've been fighting up here and over here. Okay, we had those couple of candles at this top end kind of breaking out but immediately pulling down. This breakout is a significant one because obviously it indicates that we were moving on up. We tested this upper level, unable to get past it, so I'm kind of expecting us to fall back down and hopefully have this $18.32 area become our support line. Okay, and if it doesn't hold, then yeah, sure, we're going to be potentially coming down to what the bears are indicating, which is this area here, which would be the $16 range. Okay, I'm hoping that we can hold the $18, but as always, that possibility that we actually come down and retest this area here. And the argument here is that the fact that we've tested this area so many times, this upper trend line so many times, and the fact that it's failed is going to give the bears a lot more momentum to the downside and really pull the price into touching the lower end here. Okay, so this trend line will most likely hold reasonably well, but ideally we don't want to have to come this low. There's obviously going to be some areas of support along the way down, and I'm going to delete these afterwards, but you can kind of see that's going to be an area of interest as well. We might break past the 1832 and fall down to 1724. And if that one isn't good enough, then ultimately, yeah, do prepare ourselves for $16 or so. So we'll have to see how that one plays out, Chris. But let's take a look at what else we can see on this chart. Not only are we high up here in the candles, really touching that trend line, our MACD is also a very, very positive situation, which looks good. And the volumes are also increasing. Okay, although they have started to flatten off a little bit in recent a couple of hours or so. So we do have a flattening of our volumes, even though they did spike initially. Not quite as significant volumes that we saw over here, but still a significant volume nonetheless. So a positive MACD is a good indicator, but this thing can switch direction pretty fast. We are overbought on our RSI on this 4-hourly chart, so that's not a good indication of things to come. When you're up in this zone here, you tend to fall down pretty hard. Okay, so we have to appreciate that we're going to be pulling back. It's just a degree of how far we end up pulling back for. Okay, so these volumes are okay, but if they don't decrease sharply, then we might end up falling down. If the volumes were to decrease sharply, we could go sideways. Okay, so we have to really pay attention to what's happening with the volumes, what's happening with the MACD, and what's happening with this RSI to help us know where this thing's potentially going to go, if it's going to bounce from our support line here, or if it's going to come down and bounce off our trend line. So there's 2 zones to really be focusing on the candles, and the volume is going to be a key driver to that, as is the RSI, and the MACD will follow whatever the RSI does. So let's pull this down into a 1-hourly kind of view, Chris. And do slow me down, Chris, if you think I'm going a bit too fast at any one point. Is there anything you would like to add to this so far?
No.
I just love doing it. I just love it. So here we are on the hourly version of this chart, right? So again, same trend lines that we can see. We can see also all the tests that are going on up here, and most recently here, all the negative, the down bottom end of the trend line, and so forth, right? So we know what's been happening. We can see the volume up here, and that went up. We are getting a little bit of a flattening at the top here. So it can continue to go flat, but ultimately we want it to drop down in volume so that we can correct our RSI and then get another attempt to push on up, okay? Because we are very, very close to hitting the next price target, which we'll get into in a moment. So yeah, so at the moment, MACD is positive, but if the RSI corrects down, then that's going to flip pretty quickly. The volume's still high, but albeit flat. Ideally, we'd like this to come down to correct our RSI to the downside. Ideally, we would like to enter this bottom level here, somewhere between 40 and 30, as we did in this particular section over here. So if we were down here, we can bounce up to this upside pretty quickly. If we can stay in here, in this particular zone, whilst we correct our RSI down here, simply by lowering the volumes, then ultimately we had a really good chance at pushing on past our support trend resistance line. And yeah, really kind of push on up to the next price point. So things are bearish, yes, but positive as well. So I think there's going to be a bearish pullback for a temporary moment. And then I think we'll be pushing back to the upside because ultimately we are in a bull cycle. The bears have their little moments here and there, and I think this is one of those moments where they're going to potentially pull the price down from $19 to possibly $16. But if we're able to get control of it from a bull's point of view and hold it within the $18 range, $18 to $19 range, then we could correct our RSI strong enough to push us to the next price point and break the trend line. So we'll have to see if that's going to happen, Chris, but ultimately things are looking bearish for now. If I pull this onto the daily view, guys, what we're going to do is we're just going to have a look at what our price predictions are, right? So straight away, we know that the bears are targeting $16 down here on the trend line. Okay, and that's a little bit higher than our first price target, which was $14.49, and we hit that here on the 16th of January. Okay, we took care of that, and it wasn't a problem. Now, the next price target that we're actually trying to go after is $20.67, and we're incredibly close to it, but we are up against this resistance line in the form of an upward trend. Okay, we're in this channel and we can't break out of it. So there's going to be a pullback. This is the bearish part of the video where we're going to say, yes, there's going to be a pullback. It's going to be in this zone here. I would like to keep it within that $18 to $19 range. It's going to be there. Do expect it to come down. If we cannot correct the volumes, then do expect us to potentially come down towards that $17, $16 range and prepare ourselves for that. There's no scenario that I can see at this point in time, Chris, where we can continue to the upside. We're going to have to absolutely correct down. And then once we've had that correction, the RSI gets corrected, the volumes potentially get corrected, and then we can continue our journey to the top side. So a temporary pullback, but still bullish, I think, Chris, long term.
Yeah, I kind of feel like ETH's still got a way to go, and I think it's fine to have these bearish points for DOT and various other altcoins. I think this is ultimately what we're seeing is people preparing because they also know that these alts are after ETH. So yeah, interesting times. Really excited.
Absolutely. So guys, if you have found this video useful, informative, then do go ahead and smash that like button for Chris. He really does appreciate it. I really appreciate it. And I like to think the entire Cheeky Crypto community appreciates it. And if you, by chance you're not yet subscribed to the channel, then do go ahead and subscribe. By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with all the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And with all this said and done, we hope you have a fantastic day, guys, and we'll catch you all in the next one.
Yeah, take care.